Είμαστε στη μετάδοση του οικονομικού ταχυδρόμου και του tovima.com και έχουμε τη χαρά να φιλοξενούμε εδώ στο στούντιο, στο Οικονομικό Φόρουμ των Δελφών, τον Γερμανό πρέσβη στην Αθήνα, τον Andreas Kindl. I have the pleasure to have you with me, Ambassador Kindl. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I had prepared another first question for you, but I want to ask you now about the coalition government first. You have a government. Yes.
We have a coalition agreement that the party leaders of the two parties that will most probably form the government agreed upon. So now this text goes into the parties. They will have to agree to it, and by early May it is planned to have the election of the Chancellor in the Parliament, and then we have immediately the government, the new government, formed out of these two parties, Christian Democrats, and the party and the Social Democrats. So we're not quite there, but we have a text which gives an idea on what this government wants to do.
And so all these have been done very, very quickly. Is that
Absolutely.
correct?
This
yes.
is almost a record.
Yeah.
Because I think, the expectations of the people, of the voters, of the citizens were very clear. We need a government soon. And the expectations from around Europe towards a leadership coming from Germany was also very clear. So I think that the leaders of the two parties felt this responsibility very clearly. And now we have had elections in February, end of February. Now we have 2 months later, we have the coalition agreement, and we will have a chancellor very soon. So I think it's almost a record, I guess.
Well, I read about recent polls in Germany, and I saw there that Alternative für Deutschland, the far-right party, comes first in the polls. That is, I don't know, very, very worrying.
If you see the polls, it is what is remarkable is that the CDU has lost in the polls between the elections and now. Quite a bit of votes, but of course this is not. If your shares at the stock exchange are low, you don't sell it. So it doesn't matter really in terms of majority in the parliament or distribution of seats in the parliament. What we will have, I think, is as soon as the government is running smoothly, you will see the numbers falling, because people expect something from this government. As soon as they can see that the program is the right program, as they expected, that the implementation of this program is moving on, I'm sure that opposition party AfD will lose in the polls.
Yes, because maybe people worry that because the Christian Democrats have now a coalition agreement with the Social Democrats, which were not voted in the last elections, maybe they are unhappy because of that, and they show that in the polls.
I think what Social Democrats had good, not good elections results, but they are the third strongest party. So I don't think we can say that people are disappointed about the fact that they are going into that coalition, because it was clear from the beginning no party is going into a coalition with AfD. We have the so-called firewall, if you want. So I think what happens is, as soon as the dissatisfaction or the popularity of AfD comes with the dissatisfaction of a government that doesn't seem to care for the wishes of the people. As soon as we have a government acting, as soon as we have a government implementing the reforms and the things they want to do, I believe that these polls will go down and people will see, okay, they're actually doing something. They're doing what we want, and dissatisfaction will go down.
So, Ambassador Kindl, how serious do you think this threat is to our democracy, the rise of the far-right parties? And now I'm not talking only about Germany, I'm talking about also Hungary, I'm talking about the United Kingdom, although it's not in the EU, but it's Europe. I'm talking about France, of course.
What I see this risk, I see this threat coming from populist parties from right and left. We have had populist party on the ballot in our elections, which did not succeed to come into the parliament. But it is, it is in other countries you have populist parties on the left and on the right. So, of course, the threat of these populist parties with cheap promises is difficult. But we have in our country, compared with what I can see now in the US, we have in our country and in most countries in Europe very safe checks and balances. And I think that will secure a lively and well-working democracy.
Now, are you concerned that we are entering a phase where even the possibility of a third world war cannot be ruled out? And if that's the case, can Europe protect itself without the United States?
Okay, first of all, I don't think we will go into a phase of a third world war. What we see is uncertainty. What we see is belligerent rhetoric. And of course, we have the Russian attack on Ukraine as a major disaster in terms of international law. But I think coming to the possibility of defending ourselves, it really depends on the threat. We have already a strong threat of hybrid warfare coming from Russia, and I think we're doing well. We're doing well in defending ourselves. If it is about supporting Ukraine to the fullest extent, we can see already, despite the fact that Europe is supporting Ukraine much more than the US. Never mind what the president says. Still, we will have difficulties in supplementing, if the US is withdrawing completely, supplementing our support to Ukraine. So, of course, depending on the threat that's coming, we will not be able to defend ourselves and not defend our allies, for instance, Ukraine, to the fullest extent without the US. So we need a cooperation with the US.
Do you believe that there is now the time for peace in Ukraine, or for stopping the war, to be more correct?
Look, I think if Ukraine decides, Ukraine is attacked. If Ukraine decides that this is a position they need to take, they need to find a way to negotiate with Russia, they should do it, but they should do it, and not someone else behind their back and without their support and without their collaboration. So it is a matter of how they need to do it. From my position, of course, if I look at it, it would just give a pause to Russian forces to fortify themselves, to strengthen themselves, if this is not a negotiation with security guarantees, strong security guarantees for Ukraine. And I don't see this happening the way the negotiations or the talks are going on at the moment.
Okay, now we have the war in Ukraine, we have the chaos in the Middle East with Israelis and Palestinians, and now we have the tariffs. President Trump comes every day with another proposal about what he's going to do. And we have, of course, the trade war between Washington and Beijing and China. How affected will Germany be with the tariffs, and also the European Union as a whole?
The tariffs are a bad thing. So ideally there would be no tariffs. Now, as the president, or how the US president is doing it, it's even worse, because it's characterized by the highest degree of uncertainty and unpredictability. And in economic affairs, this is death to the markets. This is death to the stock exchanges. And I think he has seen this. He was ignorant about it in the beginning. He has seen it when the government bonds in the US went chaotic. Still, we have a 90-day pause now on both sides between European Union and the US. Ideally, we would have no pause, we would have no tariffs, because this brings calm to the markets, and it's much better to have trade. This is the biggest trade relationship in the world. We are the biggest trade partner in the world. So of course, it is very, very bad. It is definitely bad for Germany. It's bad for the European Union because the United States are a strong and important trade partner to us. So obviously, without the tariffs, we would fare much better. And I hope that we come to a conclusion of this without tariffs.
Now, if there is this war between Washington and Beijing, how should Europe handle that, you think?
Okay, we have our own difficulties with China. Politically, also economically, the way how China treats foreign companies. So this is not an easy relationship. It is not good for us if at the same time our best ally, our best friend of the past, runs this kind of program to, I'm not saying destroying the European Union market, but disturbing very much to a large extent. So ideally, I think we should have world trade in the framework of the World Trade Organization and as less tariffs as possible. What we have to do, I think we have to enlarge our free trade agreements with other parts of the world. The larger the market we have, the better. So I think that would be, and then we need calmness on the American side and get along better with the Americans in terms of trade partnership.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Kindl. Thank you.
My pleasure.